Hello and welcome to 18 WJTS in.form. We're glad that you joined us today. Now, the weather may be a little chilly, but some people are liking to go and jump in a lake. So if someone's ever told you to jump in a lake, you can do it for a good cause with the Polar Plunge for Special Olympics. Joining us in the studio is Francie Smith. She is the South Regional Director for Special Olympics Indiana.
That's correct.
Francie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
What is the South region of Indiana? What is the area that you cover?
Well, I mean, it's quite a large region. It really is. It's all counties south up to almost I-70. I go up to Vigo, across the state to Jefferson, Switzerland. So it's kind of a little.
Okay,
little,
yeah, you do
it
have
is
a pretty
a lot.
good area. All right. What is Special Olympics for those who don't know?
Well, Special Olympics is, we're a sports organization, but we are much more than sports. We do offer 20 different Olympics types sports for children and adults with intellectual disabilities to participate in. Each county has their own program, so they decide what type of sports they can offer within that community. We also have fitness clubs within those county programs. We have one right here in Du Bois County. And so it's health, fitness, it's inclusion. And those are those things that we're doing for those people with intellectual disabilities.
And this takes money to do the things that you do.
Well, and something, and then people don't realize is that we don't charge the athletes to be a part of it. We don't want them to have any out-of-pocket expense. So that's why our counties and our state, we have to raise funds to make this happen.
All right, and you do that with a polar plunge.
We sure do.
Which I know a lot of people know what the polar plunge is, but for those who are viewing right now may not really have an idea what the polar plunge is. What is it? Well,
and what people do is they raise money and they jump in water, and I know that sounds so very simplistic, but really that's it. They come, this one that we're talking about is at Prides Creek Park. Everybody comes and they wear silly costumes. You don't have to wear a costume. They run into the lake and dive in, or not necessarily dive in, but go under. And again, you don't have to go under either.
And regardless of the weather.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So and the idea is to do this in winter when it's very cold.
Yes.
But you're not required to go in the water. You're not required to go under the water. You're not required to stay in a certain amount of time.
No, and you can go dip your toes.
Oh, and that would count?
That would count. Yeah, anything counts.
What if somebody says, I do not want to go in the water, but I want to help?
And it is intimidating to say, hey, you're going to go into freezing cold water. We have something called a virtual plunge. Again, you can raise funds for Special Olympics that way. You become a virtual plunger and still be a part of a team or as an individual and raise those funds. And you get a special T-shirt, too.
Now, you the earlier the better to sign up, to get registered, so you kind of have an idea so people have time to raise some money. But if somebody decides on that day that they want to plunge, they can do that, but they need to raise a certain amount of money.
Yes, in order to be a part of the plunge, we ask you to raise a minimum of $75. That's going to get you to plunge and also the souvenir T-shirt. And you can also raise more than that too, but sure. 75 is the minimum.
Are there teams?
Yes. Well, we have a local team right here. It's the DC Duck Plungers, and they're here at Du Bois County. But there's lots of teams all over the state. There's multiple teams. If you go onto our website and you visit the Petersburg Polar Plunge website, you can see all the different teams that are plunging. Okay. Again, you can do it as an individual or part of a team.
Let's talk about the Petersburg Plunge because I mean you hold polar plunges all over the place.
I will say the first one is the first weekend in February, okay. And it goes until the first weekend in March. We have plunges every weekend.
Okay, so the Petersburg Plunge is February 23rd?
Yes, it is.
Is that a Saturday?
That is a Saturday.
And does that cover like a certain county area, say Pike, Du Bois, Warwick, or is it? Actually,
it's surrounding areas. We have plungers from Knox County, Davies, of course, Pike County, Gibson, Du Bois. We have some coming from, Spencer, and of course, Posey County. They actually come up and plunge with us also.
Okay, so you're covering a big area, so you're only going to have so many plunges.
Yes, that's right.
Can someone choose then what plunge they want to go to?
They sure can.
Okay, so
they can whatever weekend works best for your schedule. There are 2 local plunges. There's one up in Boonville, like I said, on the first weekend in February, and then this one on the 23rd.
Now, if someone plunges, is there a heater afterwards? Is there
yes.
Yeah, how does that work? Because you come out, you're going to be pretty cold.
Well, and again, it is safe. I want to say that.
Yes.
It is safe.
Yes.
We have divers in the water, so we have the Princeton Fire Department and Indiana State Police water rescue teams in the water surrounding the plunger, so you're perfectly safe. Afterwards, we have heated changing areas.
Okay.
Yes, we do. So that, and again, want to bring a change of clothes with you too, because once you're wet and everything, you got to get those wet clothes off.
Well, this is Indiana, so it could be 10 degrees one day and 55 the next day. So,
I will say that.
Yeah.
And last year we had a very warm plunge. It was a little harder to plunge, I'll say, because it was warm. I was comfortable outside, and then I went into that water, and woo-wee, it was cold.
I would say people will be disappointed if it's not cold.
Yeah,
that's kind of the whole point.
The whole point. You
right?
want it to be cold. Well, when you get in the water, it's cold no matter what.
No matter what.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, if they raise funds, do they need to bring the funds the day
Of
the plunge?
So you can go online and register, and those funds are just raised offline, and we have a tally of that for you. And then also, if you raise funds offline, you bring those with you. Again, you do not have to register online. It just makes life easier for you, because we do sign a waiver, and that's going to give you. We print out a little sticker for you, so you don't have to fill all that stuff out. You just sign your name, put your money in, and you're done.
And you say everybody that plunges gets a shirt?
Yes, they do.
Is it a long sleeve shirt?
Yes, it is.
I guess it would have to be.
Yes, it is. Uh-huh.
Then they register regardless of where they live to be able to help. I mean, if they live in Kentucky, if they felt like coming to the Indiana Polar Plunge, they can be part of that.
Anybody in the surrounding area can be a part of the plunge.
And then this money that's raised, it is used for Special Olympics Indiana, because there's how does Special Olympics work? Is it like a sectionals and regionals leading up to a state, or is it one big event?
So you have local, right? We have our local groups that are county-based, and all those athletes will compete locally, right? And then we compete at areas or sectionals, and then we compete at a state level. Okay. Yeah.
So a lot like high school sports. It just kind of goes through the
sure does.
The tournament, so to speak.
Yes. Right now we're in our basketball season. And so everybody's training locally, and I mean traveling all over the state, really getting those basketball games in, because you have to have a certain amount of games in before you can compete at that sectional and state level.
Is there a website that I'm sure there is where folks can go and say, I know someone who needs to be part of Special Olympics? Can I register them for that, or how do they get involved in the activities? And I'm sure they also could go to the website and say, look, I'm not going to do the Polar Plunge, and it's June, but I just want to give some money. That's
right. And so you can go on Indiana.org. So SO, Special Olympics, Indiana.org. That's our Special Olympics website. On that same website, if you were interested in the Polar Plunge, you can find it, and you can register there as well. And you can find information about your local program there.
And primarily we are talking about the Polar Plunge, although there's a bunch of them going on in a lot of different places. But we're talking about the one in Petersburg.
Yes, that's correct.
At Pride's Creek
Park.
Okay.
It's right off of I-69 in Petersburg. So that's where we're going to have the plunge. And then after the plunge, we have an after splash bash. So after you plunge and you do this crazy thing, we want to celebrate what you've accomplished. And again, it's open to the public. Anybody can come and be a part of it. They can come watch and celebrate. But we do have an after splash bash at the Gospel Center there in Petersburg. Following the plunge, we feed everybody. We have giveaway prizes. We have an auction. Need people to come to the auction. So if you're a spectator or a fan of the plungers, we do ask for a minimal donation when you come to the after splash, but it's so well worth it. There's lots of food, and again, you get to talk to everybody and about their experience. It is just a celebration is what it is.
And so you'll have an auction as well?
Yes, we sure will. Again, another opportunity to help raise funds.
Okay. And the best way to contact you if they want to enter or have questions is to go through the website?
Yes, or they could contact me at fsmith@soindiana.org. Okay. That's my email address. They can call me. I have my number out there for everybody too. It's 812-664-2310. Or they can go on the website, polarplungein.org, and visit that.
So if you are so intrigued that you would like to be part of the Polar Plunge, which can be a great fun experience,
yes.
Or if you have a group of people that you think would like to join, make a team and have just make it a day and have some fun.
It really is a good time for everybody.
At the After Splash Bash, is there chili?
Yes, there's chili.
Okay, because you got to have something warm.
Gotta have
You gotta
chili.
have something warm soon. All right, well, Francie, thank you very much for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
This is the month of Special Olympics Polar Plunges going on every weekend throughout February. The Polar Plunge in Petersburg, which is probably the closest one, the biggest one for folks to enter in this area, will be at Prides Creek Park in Petersburg on February 23rd. Thank you for watching WJTS Inform. Thanks to our guest, Francie Smith, the Southern Regional Director for Special Olympics Indiana, has been our guest here on 18 WJTS. Thank you for watching. We're local people watching local people.